What if I told you your anger isn't even yours? It's a trap. And every time you explode, someone else wins. Now picture this. You're in an important meeting. A colleague leans back, smirks, and says, "Looks like this project will fail, just like the last one." The room chuckles. Your chest tightens, heat floods your face, and every cell in your body screams, "Fight back." But in that very moment, if you lose control, you've already lost the game. Because this is how manipulators operate. They don't need to shout at you. They just plant a seed, a joke, a sigh, a shrug, and wait for you to water it with your own rage. Epictetus once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." So ask yourself, what if your anger doesn't belong to you at all? What if every outburst is a puppet string pulled by someone else's hand? And the real question is, how do you cut those strings and take back control? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn the Stoic defense that turns silence into power, calm into a weapon, and every manipulator into their own downfall. And if you're new here, welcome to the Stoic Habit, where ancient wisdom meets modern battles. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next lesson that might just change how you handle every conflict in your life. Part 1. The Psychology of Manipulators. Why they want you angry. Manipulators don't attack with swords, they attack with emotions. They don't swing at your body. They aim straight at your mind. Sometimes it comes as guilt-baiting. After everything I've done for you, and you're really going to leave? Other times it's passive aggression. Fine, do whatever you want, followed by the slam of a door. And perhaps the most insidious of all, false concern. You know, people are saying you're just too sensitive. Notice what's happening here. They don't need to prove you wrong. They don't need to win an argument. All they need is for you to lose control. Seneca once called anger a brief madness. And in that madness, reason collapses. Your voice rises, your face burns, your heart pounds. And in that instant, you stop being yourself. You become their puppet. And they simply watch, smiling, because they know they've won. This is the game. On the chessboard of power, the one who loses composure has already lost the match. The manipulator doesn't need checkmate. They only need you to tip your own king over in a fit of rage. History is full of reminders. Leaders who destroyed their careers with a single outburst. Actors who lost everything after one uncontrolled meltdown caught on camera. Celebrities, politicians, business icons, undone not by enemies, but by their own reaction. And then, contrast that with those who mastered stillness. Take Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. In a live interview, he was challenged with aggressive, even hostile questions. The trap was clear, they wanted him rattled. But Nadella never raised his voice. He spoke evenly, calmly, almost serenely. The more they pushed, the more unshakable he became. And by the end, the entire room respected him not for fighting back, but for standing tall in silence. So here's the truth. Manipulators thrive on your explosions. They feed on your chaos. But when you refuse to react, you starve them. And that leads us to the critical question. If staying calm is the ultimate shield, then how can you train yourself to hold that shield when the fire is burning inside you? What Stoic tools exist to keep you standing firm, even in the storm? Practicing the 3 steps of Stoic defense. Part 2. The golden 10 seconds, flipping the balance of power. You are attacked, a jab, an insult, a smirk designed to pierce your skin. Your instinct? Strike back immediately. But the Stoic answer is the opposite. Stop, breathe, and silently count 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. It sounds simple, almost too simple. And yet, this is one of the most powerful weapons you will ever carry. Because in those 10 seconds, the manipulator's plan collapses. Here's what really happens inside you. An insult floods your system with cortisol. Your heart races, your fists clench, your mind shuts down logic. You are seconds away from handing over your freedom. But the moment you pause, inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and whisper to yourself, "This is the trap," you take it all back. Your stress drops. Your vision clears. Your mind returns to you. Think about Nelson Mandela. For decades, prison guards tried to provoke him, mocking him, humiliating him, daring him to break. But he refused. Later he explained, "If I let anger control me, they would win a second time." It was that calm, that mastery of the inner 10 seconds that transformed him from a prisoner into a liberator. 10 seconds of restraint changed the course of a life. 10 seconds can change yours too. Because the truth is this: anger is easy, silence is strength. Most people cannot endure even a few seconds of stillness. That is why manipulators thrive. They rely on your impatience. But if you can wait, if you can hold steady while the storm rages inside you, you turn the battlefield upside down. And here is the challenge. The next time someone tries to bait you, freeze. Do not reply. Do not explain. Just breathe, count, name the game. This is the trap. Those 10 seconds will make you untouchable. And once you learn to master them, you will see every manipulator unravel before your eyes. But what happens when the attacks don't stop? When the bait keeps coming, wave after wave? The answer lies in the next step of Stoic defense. Part 3. Glitch the matrix, breaking their code. Manipulators run on a program, a hidden operating system. Every sigh, every guilt trip, every backhanded comment is a line of code. And if you react, the system works. You become the villain they scripted. So, how do you break it? With 3 words: I'll think about it. It sounds ordinary, almost robotic. But that's the point. They expect outrage. They expect you to defend, to explain, to drown in emotion. Instead, you give them nothing. Picture this. Someone says, "After everything I've done for you, you owe me." Your voice stays even, calm, detached. "I'll think about it." Their eyes flicker. Confusion, frustration. They try again, louder this time. "You're selfish. You ruined my life." Again, same tone. "I'll think about it." You just crashed their system. They needed your guilt to fuel their control, and you gave them silence instead. Now they are the ones off balance. This technique has been used by leaders, negotiators, even world-class athletes. Why? Because neutrality is disarming. When tennis legend Rafael Nadal faces hecklers or biased questions, he doesn't lash out. He answers calmly, briefly, and leaves the weight of their words hanging in the air. The crowd sees the contrast and respects him even more. Epictetus would call this the art of detachment. He taught that insults cannot harm us unless we choose to believe them. By refusing to feed the program, you expose its weakness. So remember, you don't always need the perfect comeback. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. A steady voice, a short phrase, a refusal to play. But here's the real question. What if silence isn't enough? What if the attacks keep coming not to provoke you, but to drain you over time? That's where the final step of Stoic defense begins, the step that doesn't just stop manipulation in the moment, but makes you immune to it forever. Part 4. Emotional immunity, the final shield. Here is the truth. Every manipulator fears they can only control you if you let them. Not with chains, not with threats, but with your reactions. Every time you erupt, they win. Every time you defend, they win. Every time you explain yourself, justify yourself, bleed your emotions into their hands, they win. So, the Stoic path is clear. You must choose immunity. Not the absence of feeling, but the refusal to be owned by those feelings. Seneca wrote, "The greatest power is to be master of oneself." And mastery means this: you do not owe anyone your reaction, not your anger, not your tears, not even your words. Imagine a shield not made of steel, but of silence. Every insult strikes it and falls flat. Every guilt trip collides and crumbles. The manipulator swings harder, desperate for impact, but the shield never breaks. This is emotional immunity. It is not about becoming cold, but becoming unshakable. Think of Marcus Aurelius. As emperor of Rome, he faced betrayal, political plots, endless criticism. He could have answered with rage, with fear, with paranoia. But instead, he wrote in his journal, "If anyone can show me where I am wrong, I will gladly change, but if they merely attack me, I will remain as I am." That is emotional immunity. Criticism cannot break you if you no longer need to react. Insults cannot touch you if you see them for what they are, echoes of another's weakness. Modern life proves the same lesson. Look at leaders who stay calm in scandals, storms, and chaos. Some survive not because they are flawless, but because they refuse to flinch. The world admires resilience, and resilience begins when you stop letting others decide your state of mind. Ask yourself this: how many hours, days, even years have you lost reacting to someone else's bait? How much peace have you traded away because you felt you had to answer? The Stoic answer is liberation. You owe no reaction. So here is your choice. You can keep playing the game, dancing to every string, raging at every provocation. Or you can step outside the game completely. Calm, steady, untouchable. Because manipulators cannot manipulate someone who refuses to play. They wanted a puppet. But you became the puppeteer of yourself. And this leaves us with the final challenge. Will you let the world keep pulling your strings? Or will you stand, shield raised, calm and immovable, proving once and for all that nothing and no one can own your peace? Part 5. Applying Stoicism in real life. In the workplace, your boss says you're never on time. Most people snap back, defend, argue. But the Stoic response? Breathe and calmly say, "I'll think about it." Not surrender, but control. At home, your partner sighs, "You never care about me." Instead of exploding, you ask softly, "Can you give me a specific example?" The game collapses because calm exposes the truth. On social media, a cruel comment appears under your post. You have two choices. You can dive into an endless fight, or you can stay silent and let them choke on their own words. In every case, the principle is the same. You cannot control their voices. You cannot control their attacks. But you can always control yourself. That is Stoicism in action. Conclusion. When you stay calm, they think you're weak, but in truth, you hold the sharpest blade. When you stay silent, they believe you've lost, yet you've already drained every ounce of their power. The Stoic does not win with shouting. The Stoic wins with stillness, a force so steady it makes the enemy collapse in their own chaos. So here's your challenge. The next time someone provokes you, pause for 10 seconds, smile, and let them suffocate in your calm. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Peace comes from within you. Do not seek it elsewhere." If this spoke to you, subscribe for more Stoic lessons and drop a comment below. I choose calm.